Have you ever walked into your own living room and realized you couldn't remember the color of the rug you've stepped on every day for the last 3 years? Or perhaps you've spent 10 minutes frantically searching for your car keys only to find them sitting in plain sight right on the kitchen counter? Most of us go through our lives in a state of semi-awareness. We move through the world, but we don't truly see it. We are looking, but we are not observing. Today, I want to change that for you. I want to show you how to peel back the layers of the mundane and start seeing the world through the eyes of a master detective. Imagine being the person in the room who notices the tiny detail that changes the entire conversation. Imagine being able to read a situation before a single word is spoken. This isn't a superpower reserved for fictional characters like Sherlock Holmes. It is a fundamental skill called observation, and today I'm going to teach you how to master it. To start our journey into the mind of a detective, we first have to define what observation really is. Most people think it's just about having good eyesight, but that's a common misconception. Observation is not a physical act. It is a mental one. It is the process of actively sensing, processing, and analyzing the details of your environment. While looking is passive, observing is active. When you look, your eyes are simply receiving light. When you observe, your brain is asking questions. It's the difference between hearing a noise and identifying the specific frequency of a bird's chirp. It means understanding the world with deep attention, using not just your eyes but your ears, your nose, and your intuition. When you strengthen this skill, you start thinking like a detective. You become someone who finds important clues in the most ordinary things. You begin to realize that the world is shouting secrets at you every single day. Most people are simply wearing earplugs. Why is this skill so vital? Because the greatest power of a detective is the ability to recognize hidden patterns in everyday life. In the world of professional investigation, the smallest detail is often the most important. There are countless real-life cases where a crime was solved not by a DNA test or a high-tech camera, but because a detective noticed something slightly off. Think about a detective entering a crime scene where a robbery supposedly took place. They notice that a vase is broken on the floor, but the water from the vase hasn't soaked into the carpet yet. However, the victim claims the robbery happened 3 hours ago. That tiny detail, the wetness of the carpet, instantly reveals a lie. That is the power of observation. It allows you to see through deceptions and understand the truth of a situation. Even in your daily life, this skill is a game changer. It helps you understand people better, perform better at work, and navigate social situations with a level of awareness that others simply don't possess. However, before we can become masters of observation, we have to address the mistakes that hold us back. The biggest hurdle is what psychologists call inattentional blindness. This is when our brains focus so hard on one thing that we become completely blind to everything else. You've probably seen the famous experiment where people are told to count how many times a basketball is passed and they completely fail to notice a person in a gorilla suit walking right through the middle of the game. Our brains are designed to filter out information to save energy, but as a detective in training, you have to fight that instinct. Another mistake is accepting things at face value. Most people see a person smiling and assume they are happy. An observer looks at the tension in their jaw or the way their eyes don't quite crinkle at the corners. We also struggle with pre-existing biases. If you've already decided that a coworker is lazy, you will notice every time they take a coffee break, but you might completely ignore the hour of extra work they put in when you weren't looking. To observe truly, you must learn to see the world as it is, not as you expect it to be. Now let's get into the actual training. Just like a muscle, your observation skills need regular exercise to grow. I'm going to give you 3 practical exercises that you can start doing today. The first is what I call the silent observation drill. I want you to find a public place, like a park or a coffee shop, and sit quietly for 5 minutes. During this time, your only job is to watch. Don't look at your phone, don't listen to music, just watch. Notice the way people walk. Who is in a hurry? Who is relaxed? Notice the small movements, like someone tapping their foot or checking their watch. Listen to the background noises you usually ignore, like the hum of a refrigerator or the distant sound of traffic. By doing this, you are retraining your brain to stop filtering and start receiving. You will be amazed at how much drama and information is happening around you that you never noticed before. The second exercise is the detail focus challenge. Pick up an ordinary object in your house. It could be a glass of water, a book, or even a house plant. Spend 2 full minutes studying it. Look at the texture of the surface, the way the light hits it, any tiny scratches or imperfections. Try to memorize every single detail. Then put the object away and try to write down 10 things you noticed about it. Most people can only get 2, 3, or 4 before they run out of ideas. As you practice this, your ability to recall specific details will sharpen, and you'll find yourself naturally noticing these things in the world without even trying. This is how you build the mental library that detectives use to compare the normal with the suspicious. The third exercise is the memory retrieval challenge. Every time you leave a room or a building, try to recall 5 specific things about it that you didn't consciously focus on while you were there. What color was the door handle? How many windows were in the room? Was there a clock on the wall? And if so, what time did it say? This forces your brain to stay engaged with your surroundings even when you aren't intentionally looking for clues. It builds a habit of constant awareness. Soon, you won't have to remind yourself to observe. Your brain will start doing it automatically. You'll become the person who notices the new haircut, the missing painting on the wall, or the subtle change in a friend's tone of voice. To truly transform your thinking, I have a special challenge for you. I want you to commit to a 7-day observation intensive. For the next week, dedicate at least 10 minutes every day to one of the exercises I just mentioned. Keep a small notebook with you or use a notes app on your phone. Every day, write down 3 new things you notice that you had never seen before in your usual environment. Maybe it's a specific architectural detail on a building you walk past every day, or a specific habit of a family member. By the end of the week, you will have 21 new pieces of information about your world. This simple habit will begin to rewire your brain. You will start to feel more present, more grounded, and significantly more intelligent. You will find that problems become easier to solve because you are actually seeing all the pieces of the puzzle instead of just a few. Remember, becoming a master observer isn't about being judgmental or suspicious of everyone you meet. It's about being curious. It is about having a deep respect for the complexity of the world and the people in it. When you observe, you are showing a form of profound respect to your surroundings by actually paying attention to them. You are awakening the detective hidden inside you, moving from a life of passive watching to a life of active understanding. How your world changes when you truly start to see it. Decisions become clearer, relationships become deeper, and life becomes infinitely more interesting. The secrets are all around you, hidden in plain sight, just waiting for someone with the eyes to see them. I hope you found this guide to detective thinking helpful. If you're ready to take the 7-day challenge, let me know in the comments what you're planning to focus on first. I'd love to hear about the tiny details you start discovering in your own life. This is just the beginning of sharpening your mind and unlocking your full potential. If you enjoyed this journey into the art of observation, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into psychology, mental skills, and personal growth. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, don't just look, observe. I'll see you in the next one.